My name is Tony Litt. I'm the MD of Sunrise Radio, and it's my immense pleasure to bring you the official Sunrise Radio podcast. We are the #1 commercial Asian station in the United Kingdom, with many firsts to our name, and we continue to be the voice of British Asians who have given us their love and loyalty over 30 years. It's a legacy we cherish and a responsibility that we don't take lightly. Our aim has always been to entertain the listeners with the best of Bollywood and Bhangra, while also addressing their concerns. A real voice for the community, a vibrant community, and a great nation. We are proud to be British and Asian. This podcast is a compilation of some of the things we do on the station, with a stellar lineup of presenters who each have their own personality and style. It's entertaining, informative, engaging, and we hope you will enjoy it here as a podcast if you are unable to tune in to the radio. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your family and friends about this podcast. And do leave us a comment on what you think. We'd love to hear from you. All the best always. Team Sunrise.
The UK's biggest station mix. Sunrise Radio.
The Bhangra Showdown with Amit Chana.
So you're tuned in to a very special Bhangra Showdown this weekend. It is Retro Weekend here on Sunrise. And as I said, that is going to be a new regular mark in your calendar. The last weekend of every month is going to be Retro Weekend here on Sunrise. And as well as celebrating that, we, of course, have been talking all things Little English. Now, many of you will know that last Friday, this very small independent film with a big, big heart called Little English was released in the cinemas nationwide, including in all your views and Cineworlds in certain areas and independent cinemas up and down the country. I had the great pleasure and honour to be a part of that film, which we shot in very strange circumstances post-COVID, but it was shot against all odds and the film made it onto the screens, and many of you have gone out and watched it and supported it. For that, I thank you very much. Now, as I was saying, because it's Retro Weekend, I'm only supposed to be playing songs from the 70s, 80s and 90s this afternoon, but I will tell you this, I've got a brand new song that I'm going to play exclusively for a world exclusive on radio, and it has been produced and sung by not only one of my dearest friends, but actually I am one of the biggest fans of Shin DCS from the band DCS. Joins me on the line. Good afternoon, Paji.
Afternoon, Amit.
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us on the phone today.
My pleasure, mate. My pleasure.
Disturbing your Saturday afternoon. Now, listen, firstly, congratulations. You have got your first feature film credit.
Yeah. It's great to have that.
Tell me how you got involved with Little English.
Well, with Little English, as you know, I know Prav from Rifco.
Yep.
And I've done work with Rifco Arts. I've done theatre with them, musical theatre. And I really enjoy the experience of doing that stuff with them. So Prav he's always been going on about making a film out of one of his plays.
Yeah.
So he finally called me and said, look, we're going ahead, we're making this film, it's called Little English. Would you like to do the title song for the film? So I just jumped at the opportunity, and then he offered me a part in it as well, which I couldn't turn down.
That's interesting. That was going to be my first question. What came first? Because I know you've done a couple of tracks for the film, and you've kind of used one of your songs that is my all-time favourite songs, I think, particularly a love song anyway, La Bande Utte Jaan, which I am still obsessed with that song. Whenever it comes on my playlist, I just listen to it and put it on repeat. And you've constructed this brilliant new end-of-film track called Little English Bolia. Now, where did that come from?
Well, the Little English Bolia, shall I be quite frank with you?
Yeah, please.
Prav mentioned that he wanted a song for the end of the film. And then, I'll be very honest with you, I was having a conversation with you on the set of the film, right? And you kind of, I was kind of juggling around what kind of song I should do, and we were having a little conversation. And you said, why don't you do some Tappe Baji, right? And I thought, yeah, tappe. That's not a bad idea, right? And I'd been playing with the idea of doing tappe for a very, very long time and never got around to it with the band, right? Yeah. So it started playing on my mind, and believe you me, on that drive back from Windsor that day, back to Birmingham from Windsor, I wrote all the tappe for the film.
Wow.
Yeah, in those 2 hours, I had my little dictaphone with me, and I was driving down the M1. With my dictaphone in my hand, singing the top bit and writing and composing the lyrics at the same time, writing the lyrics and composing the melodies at the same time. So it just worked out amazingly.
What? I didn't know that because I remember having that conversation with you. I thought, that's really cool. Shimpaji did this, and that melody, it's my favourite all-time melody. So you've hit multiple favourites of mine in this film. Labande Utte Jaan, Boliyan Tappe, and you used a melody that I think is one of the most beautiful melodies in Punjabi music. Now, I'm going to get my wrist slapped today because we are doing a retro weekend here on Sunrise, and obviously we're only supposed to play songs from 70s, 80s and 90s on a retro weekend. Okay. But I managed to find a little bridge in the fact that Tappe and Boliyan are hundreds of years old, right? So it is retrospective in some way.
It is, yes. Of course it is. And I've given that kind of retro kind of feel as well, the song. Yeah. It's not a very modern sounding song, but, it's a dance. Hopefully it'll become a dance floor, favourite for people.
Let's hope so. It has got a definite wedding vibe to it as well. Okay. Now, Shimpaji, tell me, what are you up to these days? I know you've just come back from quite an extended trip in India. Are we expecting new music from you soon?
Yes, we are. Yes, you will be getting new music from DCS. We're in the studios now, working on new stuff. I've got a couple of tracks ready, but we're gonna add a few more before we decide to release something. Yeah.
Amazing.
So watch this space, people.
Can I also add, before I let you go and get back to your weekend, that your moment, I won't say what it is because I won't spoil the film, but let's just say when Harry comes to visit you, who is our central male lead in the film, is probably my favourite moment in the whole film, and it hits me every time.
Right.
So again, another favourite you've hit of mine this weekend, man. So listen, congratulations. Thank you so much for doing, only you could have done, I think, for this film, and I know Pravesh and the whole team are full of gratitude for you going out of your way to do this for us. It really sits well in the film. Your music is very British-centric Punjabi music, and only you could have done it. So Shimpaji, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys, for the opportunity, and thank you, Amit.
It's a real pleasure. Hopefully I'll catch up with you soon, buddy. Take care. Shin DCS there on the line from his home, I think, in Birmingham, who has put the music together for this brand new British film. It's an independent film about our stories. It's completely authentic. It's from the lens of our generation, a look at what life in a kind of Punjabi household in modern day Britain is. If you haven't seen it yet, it is still in your cinemas. It might not be there for very long, so don't come back afterwards and say to me, I watched it on the TV, but I wished I'd watch it on the big screen, because now's your opportunity. You can go and do it. Little English is out in a cinema near you. It gives me great pleasure to introduce an artist exactly like that, a generally Ucha Lamba Gabru, and an all-round nice Punjabi boy who originally hails from Birmingham. He's one of Rishi Rich's fairly new artists after the last couple of years or so, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce him on Sunrise Radio. Jagdar, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, man. That was a great build-up for me.
Oh, mate. It's an absolute pleasure. It's been a long time coming, man. I've been wanting to talk to you on the show for quite some time, but it's always been this conversation of, no, let's release some of his own stuff first, rather than the collabs, and then we'll get him on. Tell me, how do you feel, firstly? Congratulations. Your own EP out there in the ethos, released on the 1st of March. How is the vibe?
Yeah, I feel great, man. Massive release, man. Like, honestly, it feels great that it's finally out there. People can listen to it. We waited a long time to release it, so it's just a big release that it's finally out there. Now,
what was the stalling of it? Was it the pandemic? Was it the fact that Rishi was in India for a long time? What was the delay in releasing your own stuff?
Yeah, it was a combination of that. So I went out to India when India was in lockdown, and we made the EP out in Mumbai.
Yep.
And then obviously now Rishi's back in the UK, and so there was several things that kind of delayed the release, and you know, we always trusted that it would come out at the right time. So, you know, but at the same time, you know, it's difficult to have that patience when you know you're sitting on good music. It's difficult to wait, but we did it and we're finally here, so I'm happy.
Let me tell you, man, if there's anyone that knows the way that Rishi operates, it's me. I have known him. We've been together as friends and brothers for over 30 years. We went to school together. And one thing he does do is he puts his new artists through their paces. He doesn't go, there's going to be a release tomorrow. He's like, nah, you're going to sit in the studio, you're going to work hard, you're going to write songs, you're going to team up with people, you're going to release collaborations, and then, just maybe, you might get some of your own stuff out.
That's it. No, that's exactly what it's like.
and how was the link up between you and Rishi? How did that happen?
So it's all down to Kiran. You know, she was the reason why he probably heard of me in the first place. You know, Kiran had been following my journey from day one and introduced me to him. And that's how it all started, through Kiran.
She's an interesting character because she's very obviously talented herself as an artist, but she's also a bit of a glue, right? She sort of does she puts the feelers out and then brings forth the artist to Rishi, and he sort of gauges whether or not it's something that's going to work. I mean, how important was that relationship, the dynamic between the three of you?
so important, man. Like, without Kieran, none of this would have happened, you know. I wouldn't have made it out to India in the first place. That in itself was an absolute mission, me getting out there, getting a visa and all that kind of stuff. So it's all down to her. The EP wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for her. So, she was vital in the whole process, really.
And obviously, we can tell that you're originally from Birmingham, as much as you try and disguise it. So because you're now in London, right? So was the move a musical move? Was it a work career thing? Because you're based down south now.
Bit of both, you know, a bit of both. It just makes sense for me to be here in London right now, and I'm liking it. It's very different. I do miss Birmingham. Don't get me wrong, I do miss it, but London has its charm for sure.
How long have you been here now?
I've been here for 6 months.
That's it. Is that it?
Only 6 months, man.
Oh, wow. All right. So you are brand new then. So we have to show you the sights and sounds. All right. Listen, do me a favor. Tell me why you guys chose to release an EP. Because in the world of singles, and of course you've been on a bunch of them now, featuring with great artists like Mumsy and Kieran, etc. You know, why an EP?
For me as an artist, I just wanted to get more music out there. And these two songs in particular, I personally couldn't choose between them. I love them both, and they're both good in their own ways. And we just felt like even like a 4 or 5 track EP nowadays, people's attention span is so small that maybe 2 songs we can concentrate on pushing them, and just trying to get more music out in a shorter space of time, really.
Oh, it sounds like a great reason, and also just gives you a little bit more to get your teeth into, right? Because sometimes gauging just a single on its own, a certain type of song will appeal to one audience, but another type will appeal to another. And I think you've both, or all 3 of you, have done a brilliant job in doing a real variation on both these songs, because that's the kind of R&B sound that we're used to from Rishi as well. But Dedia is a very much kind of homage to the UK garage scene. Tell us a little bit about the other single.
Yeah, so Dedia, I wrote that back in probably 2016, 2017. I didn't really show it to anyone.
Right.
And I kind of had to fight for that one to be heard in the studio, actually. I put my foot down and showed Rishi and everything. And he loved the fast flow initially, you know, but how the song starts, and he loved that. So that's how we built it up from there. And I always wanted to do a garage song because I've grown up in the UK, of course, where garage was so prevalent. So I just really wanted to do a garage song, and I'm so happy the way Dedia turned out, because it's exactly what I wanted it to sound like.
I'm not going to lie, I think it's my favourite out of the 2, to be honest. So it was good of you to keep your foot firmly pressed against Rishi's studio floor and demand that he listens to your option as well. Listen, let's talk about your voice as well, man, because it's not your run-of-the-mill kind of Punjabi vocal. It's not that tiered hardcore Punjabi. What did you grow up listening to, and what were your influences musically?
You know, it's crazy you say that, because I started off with a folk background, and obviously my voice is nothing like that. But Sajid Mindra Kale was my favourite artist growing up. Right. And then over the years, I kind of, changed my taste and listened to people, in Bollywood, Arijit Singh, Kumar Sanu, Sonu Nigam, those sorts of voices. And then obviously the English, Chris Brown, and Charlie Puth and The Weeknd, those sort of artists. So, in terms of my biggest inspirations, they've always been kind of folk, because that's where, growing up, I remember that's where I used to practice and sound terrible because my voice couldn't match that scale and sing in that way. But that was definitely my biggest inspiration growing up.
Amazing, right? So you come from a kind of influence of folk, and then of course growing up in the UK with the R&B, kind of feels like a bit of Craig David and, like you said, modern day Charlie Puth and all that. It's a really nice mix. And the choice to put English lyrics in amongst the Punjabi thing, was that something that you guys decided in the studio, or was that something you were doing before you started working with Rishi?
I had done it before, and that was one thing they really wanted me to do and really push on and carry on doing, because they felt that that's the true representation of me as an artist, because I'm born in the UK, I'm British, but also obviously, of course, I'm Punjabi, so they were clear that we should definitely do English and Punjabi together.
Brilliant. And just before we play the next track, I got a couple more questions, but Jasin Redding has got back in touch. He said, who are you interviewing? My friend, am interviewing a brilliant upcoming artist called Jagdar. He's released his first EP into the world. It's downloadable, it's streamable, it's buyable, it's all on those platforms. It's called Gemini, and he's got 2 brand new singles off of that. I hope that helps, Jazz. And just before I let you go, Jagdar, just tell me, you are keen, avid social media content maker. Is that important in the modern day as an independent artist?
Unfortunately it is, because otherwise no one hears your stuff, and you have to kind of stand out and, promote in different ways, and get your personality out there a little bit more. It's not just about the music anymore, which I think is a bit of a shame, because it makes it a bit harder for artists to get their music out there. You have to go, a step further than maybe you'd want to. But it's cool, man, because I'm just trying to have fun with it. I'm trying to promote it in funny ways, and just try and enjoy it as much as I can.
It has its positives and negatives, because I guess the positive is the net is much wider, because you're reaching a wider audience than you would do if you were just promoting it within the community of people that listen to this kind of music. But also it makes it detract from the actual point of actually making music and having to do other stuff in order for people to know who you are and introduce yourself. Jagdar, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, man. Hopefully we'll get you in the studio next time when there's more releases, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. 100%. Anything planned up your sleeve in the near future, or are you just pushing the EP?
Yeah, pushing the EP for sure, for the next month or so, definitely, really getting it out there. But yeah, making music all the time, writing all the time, composing all the time. So just expect more music, hopefully, fingers crossed.
And where can we find you on socials, my friend?
So it's at Jagdar Music on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. So go follow there to keep updated. At
Jagdar Music, Jagtar Music. Mate, it's been a pleasure. All the very best with the EP. Give my love to the fam. Wicked, bro. All the best, and I'll see you soon.
Join Amit Channa every Saturday from 4 p.m. for the Bhangra Showdown, playing you the finest in Punjabi and Bhangra music from the past, present and future.